Welcome back to part 684,794,633,142. We're working on the old 40. We got lots to do. I can't do it talking to y'all. If you recall, last week we left off having some issues with our threading devices. Well, I just got back from town and they got me a new M14 by 1.5 tap. Whilst I was in town, I had a little incident. I'll show you that here in a minute. MLS, yes. But for now, I want to run this tap in this hole. Let's see if it straightens it out. All right, let's see if this thing is going to act right with this new tap or not. I sure hope it does, because if it don't, then I don't know what to do. She's running in pretty smooth, so I ain't got a clue what's going on. I sure don't. Yes, sir, she's running on in pretty smooth, so you ain't got a clue, fellers. Now, let me run it on in and then bring it back out, and we'll try to screw it threads in. Let's see if it'll go in or not. Well, I don't understand that because, I mean, there was no resistance running that tap in there, but as you can see, she's running on in. So I reckon it was that old cheap Chinese tap. Yep, that's what it was. Anyway, glad to get that fixed. Let me get this back out. You know, we're still waiting on the 11/16 18 left-hand thread tap. When it comes in, we'll finish the steering. So for now, well, let me show y'all what happened to me in town. It ain't good. Here's some quick MLS for you. Went to fill up my little truck right here. Apparently, I got a hole in my gas tank or the hose or something. I got the biggest puddle you ever seen all around my truck. I give up. It never stops. Yes, sir. That just happened to me a little while ago. You know, it was pretty much empty. I figured $45 or so should fill it up. Well, she hit 50. I'm like, well, this is odd. It shouldn't hold this much gasolines. Well, I looked down at my feet a second later and just saw the gas. Well, it was just pouring under my boots there. I was like, holy crap, shut her down. Anyway, I went in there and told the girl working at the gas station, evidently I got a hole in my tank and a big old puddle of gas out here. And there wasn't nothing I could do, so I just left. I don't know if they have to call the fire department or something like that or what the deal is, but hopefully, you know, nobody thumped the cigarette out there and it caught on fire. Anyway, we need to figure out what's going on because the last few days, every time I've gotten out of it, I thought, I smell gas. Well, I was right. I need to pay attention to my nose more often. Anyway, let me clear a spot in here. We'll get that S10 in here, see if we can't figure out what's going on with it. Smells like gasoline's in there for some reason. My jack just barely fits under the frame. I ain't got no ground clearance on this little truck. Not much. Alright, let's get on here and see what we got. I think I may have found the issue. Right in there is the gas tank. I got my short screwdriver, by the way, for troubleshooting. And let me see if I can show y'all what's going on. Way back yonder, see this white area? Watch it move. Yeah, that's my whole fuel pump, fuel sending unit assembly. It's lifted up out of the tank that much. Ain't got a clue how. I put a fuel pump on it 3 years ago. Apparently I didn't secure it good enough in the tank, so we got to pull this bed back off and I got to fix that. So as soon as I get help, we'll lift that bed up and go ahead and fix that. But right now, the fire dragon is calling me. She's about out of Earl, so I got to pump Earl into my barrel and take it down to fire dragon. That'll take an hour or so. And we get done with that, we'll loosen this bed up, and then I'll have to wait for help to pick it up. I'm out here in the garage filling up my jugs to take the Fiery Dragon. And let me tell you, it's a mess. I got to hurry and get this cleaned up so I can move other stuff in here. I'm using this for storage, like for four-wheelers and lawnmowers and whatnot, but it's a mess right now. Anyway, out here filling up my jugs to take to the Fiery Dragon. And I looked over here in this box, and what do I see? It's full of end mills. A friend of mine, her daddy worked in the tool room where I used to work. Well, daddy worked there too. Him and daddy were really good friends. They both passed away, I don't know, within 6 months to a year of each other. And she wanted me to have this tooling because she knows, I use that type of stuff. So she's been giving it to me a little at a time as she cleans out the basement. Anyway, I've been meaning to take this over there to Mama's and put it with the other milling stuff. Well, I just forgot. And then yesterday, which would be last week for y'all, you remember how I had trouble counterboring the holes in our bar on the steering? Had to keep fooling around till we got the hole big enough. Well, I want y'all to look right here. This one is 1.1 inches. It'd have been more than big enough. This one is 1.25 inches. It'd have been more than big enough. This, I completely forgot I had them. This right here, this is what my memory does to me. Yeah, it causes me a lot of trouble sometimes, but I can't help it, fellas. That's just how I'm made. Anyway, I'm gonna load them up in the truck here in a minute. They're going over to the milling machine. Let me get finished filling up the Fiery Dragon, then we'll go work on the S10. Well, I'm done with the Fiery Dragon. Got it filled up. I got all my bed bolts loose. I think last time I did this, I just jacked the front end up, with 2x4. Well, it's just aggravating. It sits so low. It's aggravating to get anything under it. So I'm gonna wait till I get some help, and we're just gonna pick it up and set it back so I can get to that. Whilst I wait on them, they should be here next hour or so. Whilst I wait on them, I figured let's take this 3-deuce manifold outside and try to clean on it. It's pretty nasty, but that right there, is what it's supposed to look like. It's just dust and dirt from several years. I'm gonna hit her with some purple pyre. Let's see if that'll fix it up. It's a lot cleaner than it was. Still ain't 100% though. I think, if I got some oven cleaner, let's try it. It'll clean aluminum. If it's shiny, it won't be after you're done with it, but it will clean it. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I didn't have any oven cleaner, so I hit her again with the purple pyre. I got me a little brush, got down in these little nooks and crannies. It's good enough for what we do around here. I might go to Dollar General later and get some oven cleaner. I don't have a ride right now though. Got this tore down. 4-wheel drive, doesn't have a carburetor. That's a long story. Dude, I ain't started him in 2 months. If it started, I could take him, but I bet the battery's dead. Anyway, I think my help is on the way, so we'll go ahead and fix this, and then I might fool with that some more in a little bit. Well, all my help is busy doing other stuff, so I ended up picking it up myself and got it propped up with the 2x4. Hopefully it don't fall on me. But here is the issue, right here. The whole thing, it just come loose. I don't really know why, so let me do some investigating and see what I got going on. Well, I don't see any issue other than it's got this locking ring. It goes down on these 4 prongs, and then you gotta twist it to lock it in. I guess it just come loose. I ain't never seen that before in my life, but let me tighten her back up. All right, that's as far as it can go. So if she comes loose again, I don't know. It's even got a little hook right here that hooks it into place. So I ain't got a clue how it come loose. Glad to get that done. Glad nobody got blown up. That could have been bad. It sure could have been. But let me tell you this. See these 2 screws right here? It took longer to get those back in than it did to do everything else all put together. Yes, sir. That made me say a bad word or two. And whilst I was contemplating life because they were making me so mad, it dawned on me that my check engine light came on 2 or 3 days ago. Well, you remember last week I had to put an O2 sensor in it. Well, that made the light go out. Well, then it popped back on a couple days later. It was evaporative emissions. The charcoal canister's back here. Why they put it back here, I don't know. But there's a little valve back here too. It went bad a few years ago. And I fixed that one. I figured, well, that valve's done gone bad again. No, sir. It was because of that popped out. And it needs to, I believe, pull a vacuum on that evaporative emission stuff. It couldn't pull a vacuum, so it set off the light. So I bet you that light will go out here for too long. Anyways, my knee rolling around on this concrete is absolutely killing me right now. So I'm gonna call it a day. I'm gonna fool with this heater for just a little bit because it won't light again. Y'all may see a destruction video of a ready heater, torpedo heater, if this thing don't start acting right, because I'm about tired of fooling with it. Anyway, tomorrow we'll probably start putting this motor together because I'm still waiting on parts. Oil pan did come in. It's right over yonder. Got the intake clean. We'll probably start putting it together. Can't put the transmission together because I completely forgot to order speedo gear. That there's messed up, so I wanted to put a new one on it. Well, I forgot to order it, but it should be here tomorrow. I'm telling you, my memory is just terrible. Well, I'm a one-man show. I got to do all this, the YouTube channel, the house, that's all mine. I'm literally a one-man show. Sometimes I just forget stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go in the house. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Till the next day. We got lots of boxes sitting here in the floor. There's a couple more over on the table. Let's open these up first and see what we got. I reckon Christmas came a little bit early for us on the Forte. There's that beautiful chrome oil pan. It looks very well constructed. It's pretty heavy. The only thing is the chrome plating, it stops right there. It's pretty thin right here. I don't care. I didn't get it for looks. Ain't nobody gonna get under the car looking. I don't care. It's an oil pan. It was cheap. That's why I got it. Then remember, said I was gonna throw away that other tie rod end. Got that. Speedometer gear, 8-tooth speedometer gear. One of my most fun things to do is wiring. I bought a wiring kit for the old 40. I don't think it'll be too bad because there's not a lot of wiring that goes into one of these old cars. I still ain't looking forward to it, but I don't think it'll be all that bad. Then I got me a brand spankingly new aluminum radiator. We're going back in the stock location, which will be, I don't know, about right here. You know, they had them little brackets welded here. I don't know why they moved it. I don't know why they just didn't keep the stock one. Anyway, let's come over here and look at these two boxes right here. Oh yeah, we got us a bunch of bolts and nuts and washers and all that. Went to the local bolt store a couple days ago. I told him I got a 72 pocket bolt bin. Fix me up. This is what they come up with. He said it'll fill 60 of the holes. And I think the rest of them, I may get some pipe fittings like, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8 nipples and unions and, not unions, but couplings and elbows, whatever. We'll put something in them. But I don't like this sitting down on the ground. I would like this about right here to be eye level. So I'm gonna build me a little stand. I went and got me some angle iron a little while ago. We're gonna build us a stand for it real quick. Take it over and see if it'll fit. Well, it appears to fit. Well, that's good. From here to eye level is 31 inches. So let me make 4 legs and we'll weld it up. It does pretty good. I went ahead and put me some gussets on the corners of the legs. I think that'll be all right. I think it's about the right height. My eyeballs hit right here on that bottom of that second row. I reckon I'll spend the next hour putting all these bolts and washers and nuts and everything where they go. When I get done with that, well, we'll do something else. Well, there it is. I now have a very nice bolt bend. Yes, sir. It goes quarter, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16 half bolts, short to long. Then it goes flat washer, lock washer, nut, all the way down to here. And I got, what is it, 3, 6, 9, 12 spots open. I think what I might do there, I'm always needing 1/8 and 1/4 inch pipe fittings. So I'm gonna get some nipples and some couplings, maybe some bell reducers and bushings. Put them all right there, and then that'll be full. That's pretty awesome though. As far as labeling, I don't see no need. I know where stuff is. I ain't no dummy. I don't see no need labeling. This is awesome right here, fellas. I've been wanting this for a while. And you know what else? Phooey on a bolt sponsor. I got it right. I buy my own stuff. I was raised up, fellas, that if you wanted something, well, you work for it. Now, I know I do have a few sponsors, Vivor and Hyperlight. They're actually sending me some more lights to put over my tables. Y'all, it'll probably be more sponsors, but for the most part, I'm just gonna try to get this stuff myself. And I know a bunch of y'all want to see me have a lift. I want to have a lift. And a while back, I contacted one of the lift companies. I ain't gonna tell you who, but let's just say it didn't go well. I'm pretty sure they lied to me. There was an 8-day span there where, you know, I didn't hear anything back from them. So I figured, you know, they didn't want to sponsor me. So I emailed them back and said, thank you for, you know, not letting me know. And that ended my chances with him, but that's fine. I'll go with a different company. I don't care. Anyway, I'm happy to get that. My tap, my 11/16, 18 tap just come in. I know I said we was going to put this together, but I want to work on the steering. I want to get this done because it's getting on my nerves. So let's all head over to Mama's and get over the lathe and get all that done. All right, here we are at the old lathe. I'm going to give her a shot of Earl's. This is the left-hand tap, so we got to run the lathe in reverse. Let's see what we can get her to do. I got to go to about right there. I'm gonna say it's goodly enough right there. Let me blow that out, and then we'll see if that tie rod end will screw in there. Will it screw in? Oh yeah, look at here. I think that's pretty good. Let me pull this out. You know, we already did the other end. I gotta do the other one completely because we've done nothing to it. So when I get that done, I'll be back. Well, MLS, it's visited me again tonight. I broke a smaller drill bit off in there. Well, let me find it. Where is that? This one right here. Broke it. I don't know why it broke, but it just broke. And then, well, let me explain this to you. When you're trying to cut something or drill something, your tool, cutter, has got to be harder than the metal you're working with. Well, I don't have anything harder. Well, I might have a carbide cutter somewhere, but it'd be too big. Anyway, when you're trying to cut a drill bit with another drill bit, it don't work. It does that right there. I was hoping that I could just use this bigger one and that stuff would just knock out of the way. No, sir. It's embedded. The only thing I know to do right now is get me a punch. Get in there and see if I just can't knock it out of the way. You know, crumble it into little pieces. I've done that before and it works. Let me try it again. All right, let me whoop a devil out of it. See if I can't break that stuff up. I felt some of it hit my hand, so that's good. Let's see if we got anything. Got a little bit of something. I think it's still in there though. Yes, sir. May end up having to get another piece of metal. I don't have one. I have to go buy one tomorrow. A little bit more. It's possible that I'm embedding it more, but I don't really have much choice. Let me go see what we can do on the lathe again. All right, here's what I did to remedy this situation. I turned this around and started drilling from this end. I was hoping we could get to the broke drill bit, right up next to it. Then I could stick a punch in there and just whack it on through. Well, it drilled on through for whatever reason, so I'm happy for that. I got to run one more drill bit. This is the metric end, and I got to run one more drill bit through there, and then we'll be ready to tap it. So let us get that done. I'm very happy that that happened, though. That way we can keep on the trucking. Here's the problem, fellas. Like I've told y'all, this is wore out equipment. This chuck is wore out, and it don't want to grab the drill bits and stuff. That's why that drill bit broke, because it started slipping in the chuck, and then it grabbed again, and it broke it. And well, the tap the other day, that tap is junk, but also this here wouldn't grab a hold of it real good, and that's why it kept spinning. Anyway, let's get this done. It's wore out equipment, in other words, fellas. That's all I got. I'm happy to have what I got. Would I like to have a new mill and a new lathe? Sure, but I ain't got one, can't afford one, so you know what? I use what I got. All right, there's 3 inches deep. Now let's run that tap through there. Give her a little bit of Earl's. Hopefully, this tap does a little bit better than that did the other night. It was just a junk tap. Got to go 3 inches deep. We pretty much got to use every bit of that tap. Well, as you can see, tapping it by hand again. It'll go just a little bit and start spinning in the chuck again. I don't know why. I've never in my life seen nothing like it. Never had this much trouble tapping a hole on the lathe. And I've tapped holes a lot deeper than this. And well, I don't know. I'll get it here in a minute, though. I'll be back when I get done with this. All right, I got it tapped. Here's some factory threads. Let's see if they go all the way in. Oh, look at here. By George, I think we got this end. So, we flip it around. We got to do the left-hand threads on the other side. Then I got to thread both of the tie rod ends. Well, that one there tapped out just fine and dandly. I don't know what's going on with the metric side. I've never had that much trouble trying to tap something. The only thing I can think of is this old lathe was made in the 50s. And it'll cut threads, but it only does SAE standard threads. It don't do metric. I think it made me a little mad at me because I'm trying to cut metric threads, so it's been acting up. That's the only thing I come up with. I've never had that much trouble trying to tap anything. Anyway, here is the inner tie rod end. Remember we got to run a die over it to cut threads. Also, it's a little bit big. I went back and looked, and it's 14 by 1.5. Well, it needs to be 550 thousandths. Well, it's about 585. That's about 35 thousandths too big. So we got to cut some off of here and make that die do a little better. Also, remember how that nut was really loose? I run that nut on, and it was really loose. I said, well, I'm going to have to throw that away, start over. The reason why the other night when we were having so much trouble trying to get this to screw into this, and it wouldn't, well, I thought it was this. When you run a die over something, you can tighten it up and make it cut deeper. That's what I kept doing, trying to make it screw into this. And I cut it too deep. I figured I was after the fact. So that's why that was so loose. So I've backed that die off, and it's not tightened up anymore. So let me cut this down to 551, and then we'll run the die over it. Also, and oh, by the way, for you interweb YouTube experts, I probably should have a live center here. I don't feel like fooling with it. I'm going to try it without it. If it acts up, well, I'll put one on it. What do we have now? We have approximately, that's about 55, that's about 50. I think we're going to leave it right where it's at. All right, I reckon it's time we're going to run this die over it. What I'm talking about, tightening it up, see that right there, it's split. You can squish it closed with these bolts here. And that's what I did. Made it cut a little more, trying to get it to fit that other hole. Well, it just wouldn't do it. Anyway, I got it backed off now, like it's supposed to be. So let's see if we can't get this thing here to tap. Let me put some Earls on it real quick. Well, let's screw on. Well, it appears that it is. Ta-da! By George, I think we got it. I got to do this one more time and then we'll be done. Well, we almost made it. I wish it would focus so you could see what I'm looking at right there. That's supposed to be threads. There ain't nothing left of it. It just gnawed everything off of it. I give up. I reckon I'm going to have to buy me another die now. And another tie rod in. Fully on it, I'm going home. Today's the next day again. Well, it's actually Saturday. I take it easy on Saturdays. So we ain't going to do a whole lot today, but I would like to get the motor done up. That means Earl pan, accessories, valve covers, probably the intake. Then we might, if I'm feeling ambitious, we might go over and put this transmission back together. And if I'm feeling really, really ambitious, we might marry the two. I still got to pull that cross member out in there and paint it. So I'll probably do that too. That might be all we do. I don't know. We'll just have to see how I feel. Let's get this here Earl pan over this here very orange motor. Already got one stuck. The very first one is stuck in the dead blame socket. Hiya! Hiya! Alright, let me get these old gaskets out of here. Come out of there, you son of a gun. Alright, I do believe that's clean enough. Let me wipe it off. We'll get our gaskets out. We'll put this here pretty shiny, brand spanking new chrome Earl pan on this old wore out motor. I like to put me a dab of RTMV in each of these corners before I put the oil pan gasket down. It seems to help on leaks. I will also put just a dab here and there to help hold that gasket in place. Keep it from sliding around. The reason I put RTMV in them corners first I want RT and V under both sides of the gasket is why I do that. After the gaskets are in place, I put quite a bit actually in these corners. I'm telling you, I don't like oil leaks at all. No sir, I sure don't. Remember here a while back, I discovered that Chevrolet changed the Earl pan right here in the front in 75, I do believe. Well, here's the difference in the gaskets that go up front here. This is the old one, the thin one. The newer one takes the thicker one, this one right here. It's only about an 1/8 inch difference. Why they changed it, I ain't got a clue. I just know that they did. We'll dab some more in this corner. I should have put them in before I put that last dab in the corners. All right, let's get this pretty chrome Earl pan on here without messing anything up, maybe. All right, let's get us some bolts. Yes, I'm using the old bolts because I don't have any new ones this short. It'll be all right. Ain't nobody gonna crawl up under it, I don't think, and judge me for using old bolts. Let me run around it with the ratchet a few times and get her good and tightened up, and then I'll be back and we'll flip her over and work on the top side a little bit. Earl pan is installed and she sure is pretty. That's about as clean as that thing will ever be the rest of its life. Yes, sir. I'll probably never wipe it off again. Our little adapter here was leaking a little bit, I do believe, and I got to reading the words here. It says use large hole only for 396, 427, 454 cubic inch engines. Well, they got the large holes used on the bolts. That's wrong. So let me pull that off. I don't really know why that matters, but apparently it does. Let me pull that off and look at it. I don't really know why that matters. Apparently it does though, so I don't know. All the gaskets and O-rings look good from what I can tell. I'm gonna clean her up. We're gonna use the non-big holes like it says and put it back together. All right, we got her back top side, and I think we'll go ahead and pull these valving covers and the intake. These valve covers leaked really, really bad. I've never had that trouble out of any motor ever until this one here. So I don't know if it's the valve covers or the gaskets. I don't remember if they're cork or rubber. I forgot. We'll find out here in a minute as soon as I get them off. They are rubber. That's just odd. I'm gonna say it's these valve covers or something wrong with them. All right, let's pull this here intake out of the way. Well, I left a bolt in the back, so maybe I should get it out. Come over there. Oh, yeah. There's Earl all around that. It's the only port like that. Wonder why that is. We need to investigate that a little bit. She was sucking oil, I bet you money. It's on the back side too. That one there wasn't sealing up for some reason. That's kind of odd, huh? See that Earl all around that port there? Kind of odd. It was like that on the other side of the gasket too. It's the only one like it. So let's look at that intake and see what we got going on. It's the same way. It's got Earls all the way around it. I don't know if that was the intake or the gasket. Ain't got a clue. Let me wipe that off real quick and see. I don't see nothing out of the way, so maybe it was the gasket. I don't know. I got the same ones to put back on it too. That ain't good. Anyway, let me clean this up and we'll get the other intake back on it. Well, I do believe I got her cleaned up. So I need to get these gaskets on, but I got the RT and V stuff firstly. Just like Earl pan, I'll put my dab in the corner to run it up. Put a dab in the corner. That way I got it on both sides of the gasket before I put it on. I also put a little bit in these areas to help hold it in place. Just like that right there. Mash him down in that blob you just put. I think I'm about out of RTV. I hope I got enough to finish this. Surely I do. Anyway. I like to put a big old thick bead along here. That way I ain't got to worry about if I got enough or not. Then I dab it in each corner again. Run it on up a little bit there. Dab the corners. You don't forget that, ever. Alright, I reckon it's time to put this beautiful piece of engineering on top of this here motor. Now, well, I'm off just a little bit. You know, normally when you put a new intake on here, which this one ain't new, but it is, you know, kind of clean looking. You want to get new bolts. I completely forgot to get any new bolts. But wait! What's that right over yonder? Oh, yeah. I got a whole bin full of new bolts. Let me go over here and get some, put it on this intake. Oh, look at here. At these brand spankingly new bolts that I'm putting on this intake. If I can find the hole. There's one. Get one over here. Oh, yeah. Let me get all them installed and torqued down, and I'll be right back. I'm just going over them one more time. Then we're going to put them pretty chrome valve covers on here. I ain't never used these rubber gaskets like these. I usually use cork, or it's a different type of rubber. So if these still leak after we get done here, well, I'm going to throw them away and go get me a different kind of gasket. I am, as soon as I get in the house tonight, I'm going to order some chrome hold downs for these, and that might help us a little bit there too. Also, and oh, by the way, I don't remember the feller's name that sent me these valve covers, but I sure do appreciate it because I believe they're going to look just fine and dandy on this motor. Yes, they sure do. Let me get these on and tighten down. Then we got to put the front accessories and all that on there. And I think we'll be done with this for now. Well, I just dropped the dampener on the floor and knocked a big old chunk of the paint off, so that's good. All right, let's put the water pump on after I drop the bolt and go pick it back up. Oh, yeah, man. I'm not going to tighten these up just yet. Like I said, we got other things to go on. Matter of fact, let's go ahead, put on the power steering pump next. This is going to be temporary too because I want to get a new power steering pump. I just ain't real sure what I got to have yet. I got to figure out what pressure that rack over there needs and then go from there. So we're just going to stick this in here for now, just because we can. If y'all remember, this bolt right here is too long. Spacer goes on the other side, by the way. So let me run this in and figure out how much we need to cut off. All right, she's bottomed out right there. Let me get me a tape measure and measure that. Do a quick lap. I need to cut off Oh, 3/4 of an inch ought to do it. Let's see if it's going to correct this issue right here. Pretty sure it will. Oh yeah, she tightened up goodly. Let me tighten these up. Now, power steering is installed. The only thing left is the alternator. Let me go get them brackets if I can find them. Had to go ahead and put a header on over here, but I got to put this alternator bracket on. Just like that right there. Well, it will be. Why in the devil will that not start? Somebody explain it to me. Now, see if I can get this bracket on. Alright, got them tightened up. Let me tighten this one up with the wrench. And I'll put the rest of the alternator on. Now where did the rest of that bracket go? It has to disappear. I ain't got a clue where it's at. Sure don't. What is this? This is very interesting because I had it with the bolts. Oh, I found it, I found it! Which way did this go? Just like that right there. Just like that right there. Now comes the alternator. I got some washers I got to use for spacers. I just realized y'all were way over there. You couldn't see what I was doing. So I apologize for that. So I've moved you around here so you can see on this alternator. If you remember, I'm trying to get the alternator in as far as I can so I don't hit the inner fender. We had to bend this bracket. And that threw us off on our arc here. So I had to grind some of that off because it was hitting the alternator. But I'm trying to get this in as far as I can. It's going to be, probably right in there somewhere. We see all that adjuster that's left. That's ugly to me. I don't like that. So I think what I'm going to do, this has got 2 holes. I'm going to cut her off right there. And that'll maybe take some of that up. It may mess it up where I can't use it. If it does, well, I'll just make another one. All right, let's see if it's going to work or not. All right. Well, this won't adjust now. Yeah, it does. I think I'm going to have to be very choosy on my belt size. But I think that'll work right there. Yes, sir, sure do. All right, let me tighten some of this up. Yeah, she's a little cockeyed. We got to do some work on that. Goodness gracious. I didn't bend that part of it. That is ridiculous right there. Huh. What in the devil? That's pretty bad, actually. Let me take this off right here. This end is bent. It's bent pretty bad, too. When I tighten it up, it gets her all out of whack. Well, that ain't worth a crap of two right there. Let me pull that off, I guess, and whoop on it with a hammer. Let me try that right there and see what that does. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one I used to know. I can get this to go in there, oh, that did right then, but I think I need another washer. I straightened that bracket up and I needed another washer. Oh, you sorry son of a gun, you. Well, I think it did. Let me tighten, well, let's see. I got to get my fan and pulley on before I can sight it and tighten these other two up. But that is a lot straighter anyway. Let's get the fan and pulley on. I forgot to put the crank pulley on too. I'm telling y'all. If my head wasn't attached to my body, I'd forget it. Sure enough would. Let me go get a 5/8 and tighten that one up. With the big boy. Tighten up with the big boy. Oh, yeah. Let's go ka-chonka with this sucker right here. Oh yeah. Where's my fan pulley at? This is interesting. I don't see that sucker nowhere. What in the devil am I done with that now? Interesting. Very. I don't know where it went. There it is. I found it! Let's get that son of a gun on here. I got to run a spacer. Yes, sir. I forgot all about that. How was I doing that before? Did I have a spacer on it then? Well, I don't know. I got one, but it's not here. It's in storage. Let me go get it. Dad blame it. This is aggravating. I'm back from storage. Got my spacer. Let me tell you why we're having to do this. And I'm not sure, I may need a thicker one. Before, we had the thin dampener with just one groove pulley. Well, we put this 3-groove pulley on here now, and that brings everything out. Plus, we got power steering, but the fan wants to hit it now, so you had to put a spacer in. And like I said, this may not be thick enough. Might have to have a bigger one. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we have another issue. This pulley. Well, let me show you on the water pump first. You got 8 holes. 4 that match, and then 4 that match. One bolt hole circle is bigger than the other one. Well, this pulley is for the small bolt hole circle. This spacer is for the large bolt hole circle. That fan laying in the floor that I painted the other day, it matches this small bolt hole circle. So this is not going to work with this and that fan. So I ain't sure what I'm going to do right now. I just want to get this together to see what it looks like, and then I'll get the right parts, order them tonight. So I'm going to come up with something, and when I do, I'll be back. Well, there she is, fellers, in all her glory. Yes, sir. We got some nostalgia going on. Yes, sir. Got a chrome oil pan. Got some chrome valve covers. That 3-deuce manifold is just absolutely gorgeous. Carburetors are not bolted on yet. They're just up there, to look good. Yes, sir. I am very pleased, though, how she turned out. We do have an issue with the belt system. Well, this fan, it's just bolted up here. I'm going to get the right spacer, order it tonight. But the alternator belt, I don't know what we're going to do here. I just tried to find one, close to the right size. I'm trying to route it. And I don't know how it's going to work, fellas, because if you come through here, of course, you're going to hit this bolt here. I've never seen a 3-groove power steering pump pulley. And even if it was, all this stuff here is in the way. So I don't know. I ain't sure what we got to do there. I got to study up on this because no matter where I route the belt, it's going to hit something on that power steering. I got to study up on that tonight. I sure do. Let me show you this. When I went to get that spacer in storage, I forgot. My nephew gave me a clutch and a pressure plate. I'm going to take that apart in a minute, see what it looks like. If it looks good and that flywheel will bolt to this crank, it may be for a one-piece, the real main seal crank. I ain't sure. Anyway, if it'll fit, then that's what we're going to use. Like I said, I got to order this spacer, and there's a few other things that I got to order. I'm going to get me a chrome water neck. Of course, I got to get a chrome water neck to match everything else. Also, if you're wondering, what am I going to do for PCV? It's got the hole for the original filler neck for the 283s. And then back here, that's the hole for the road draft tube. Well, I'm going to try to rig up something, put a PCV valve here, and then that filler neck. Where is the old intake at? Right here. It'll act like a breather. Let me pull it off. Well, maybe I won't pull it off. It won't come off. But it'll act like a breather. And it'll suck air in here. And then out here, get all the fumes. And, I don't know. It may not work. I'm going to study up on it a little bit and see what we can do. I think we're going to be done for today. This took a lot longer than I thought. I would like to have this in this car Monday. We may not do it, but that's my goal. But right now, I'm going to pull that cross member out because I still got to paint it and let it be drying tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. See y'all Monday. Well, I got my new tie rod in. This is the third one. I guess it'll be the new one to the 3rd power. Hopefully I don't mess this one up. It's cutting pretty decent threads, best I can tell. That's my new die too right there. Let me get this done, and then we'll go over and put all this on the car, and maybe we'll have steering now. I don't know. Oh, watch this right here. Oh, look at there. Watch this right here. Oh, look at there. Oh, yeah. I just got her eyeball lined up. It's a little toed out, I think. At least it is over there. It's close enough anyway that we can tell that this is going to work. Yes, sir. Hallelujah. I think we're done with this. Sort of, not really. I still got to find some boots for these inner tie rods. I don't think the ones that, you know, come with these tie rods will work. They're too big on this end, so I got to find something there. The rack is not centered. I think it turns more to the left than it does to right. Of course, you know, we got to take this off, clean them threads, Loctite that. All of them's got to come apart and get cleaned, and Loctite them. What else? Oh, when you're turning it, this little fella right here, he barely misses, but he does miss, and that's all that matters. Yes, sir, it sure is. I'm gonna say we're done with the steering, the major parts anyway. It is late, as you can see. It's dark out there. I've been around the world and back today. I was planning on having the motor. Where's it at? I got it covered up because I was painting. I was planning on having it in tonight. It ain't gonna happen. Probably ain't gonna happen this video because I still got some stuff to do. Well, I forgot. Got to do some more welding on the firewall and a little odd and end stuff. I got my brake lines. I got to put clamps on them. So I think we're gonna wait till next week to put the motor in. I was going to put the transmission together tonight. I think I'll wait on that too. So next week, that's going to be together. It's going to be mated to the motor. And sometime next video, that motor's going back in here. It sure is, yes. Got my cross member painted right over there, by the way, too. Looks beautiful. Anyway, yeah, we're going to wrap her up right here. I don't know about y'all, but that little motor right there, it might be a pile of junk, but it's a pretty little motor. Beautiful, gorgeous even, yes, sir. It'll look even better when it's sitting in that car right there. It sure will. We've got a lot done on this old car in the last 15 years that we've been working on. That's what it feels like. Still got a lot to do though. That's all right. Just get out there and do something on it every day. Pedal on it. It don't matter. Just work on it. We'll get it eventually. Also, know, by the way, Christmas is next week. I want to wish every one of y'all a very Merry Christmas. Hope you enjoy your time. Don't forget the reason for the season. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.